Good morning. I want to inform you what children go through when they are abused. Some people don't know exactly what child abuse is, so let's discuss what child abuse is. It is when a parent or caregiver, through action or failing to act, causes injury, death, emotional, or serious harm to children. This information is from the Child Help website published in 2016. From the same Child Help website, they state every year more than 3 million reports of child abuse are made in the United States. 3 of these cases live with me. Seeing what my stepdaughters have been through makes me think we need more awareness of what happens to children when they are abused. Abuse can happen in a couple different ways. There is emotional abuse, physical abuse, and sexual abuse. Neglect sometimes follows closely behind with abuse. I know this because when my 3 stepdaughters were abused, their mother was charged with emotional and neglect of the children. When children are abused, their mental health is greatly affected. The children sometimes don't feel safe, even with adults that are family. So then when they are being abused, it makes it very hard for them to speak up because they are afraid that something bad is going to happen if they do speak up. From the Joyful Heart Foundation website that was published in 2016, they have an article that discusses the effects of child abuse and neglect. In this article, it lists some of the possible effects on children's mental health. I'm going to list a few, but I'm not going to list the whole list. If you'd like to visit the website, you may. Some of the effects start off with anxiety, depression, difficulty concentrating, problems in school, and the list goes on. With my stepdaughters, I have seen a few of these. Some of my oldest has anxiety. Last year she had many problems in school, and this year the middle child is now starting to have problems in school. So it comes and goes. It's not every single day that children's mental health, like the problems, can come up whenever. All of these problems continue on into adulthood. Some children are very lucky and they are able to overcome the trauma that they have been through. The way that children overcome these problems is going through therapy or even different types of interventions. With the different types of abuse, there are different percentages that are calculated. What I mean by that is how many times or how many people speak up that they have been abused. Most people don't speak up until they're older, so these percentages are what the adults have said. For physical abuse, it's 28.3% of adults that have been reported being physically abused. Sexual abuse is 20.7%, and emotional abuse is 10.6%. This information was from the child care website also. I know that some of you may have gone through this yourself or know the signs, but I would like to touch on what to look for. Some people may have never seen it and they are confused about what to look for. So with physical abuse, you need to look for repeated bruises that shouldn't be where the child has. With a child that is starting to walk, forehead bruises, bruises on the legs, they're normal. But big, huge bruises on the arms that look like fingerprints, on the butt, those are what you should be looking for. Broken bones that aren't typical broken bones, so ribs, and the list continues on. But arm from a soccer match or something, that's typically normal, but some adults do grab their children and break their arms, so it is very difficult to see. So with sexual abuse, it's not easy to be seen. I was having difficulty finding some information on sexual abuse, but I know that if you have a younger child that is in diapers, sometimes it's difficult for for the caregiver or parent to change the diaper. So then the parent or caregiver gets very questioning and brings up maybe possibly the child being sexually abused. Emotional abuse is very big. Some parents don't even realize that they are doing it. So this list is very, very long. So I'm going to name off a few. Ignoring your child, breaking promises, humiliating your child, name calling, belittling, blaming, insulting, and threatening to leave the child. Threatening to leave the child is a very big one, saying that if your child won't behave so you're going to leave because they don't behave, that is very harming to the children. Children shouldn't have to worry about if the parent is going to leave if they do something wrong. With emotional abuse, I personally think that the parents or the caregivers are trying to scare the child into behaving and being afraid of doing anything without asking. That if they do something wrong, that they're going to be punished and like more than what a normal punishment would be. Knowing the different signs and symptoms that children have when they are abused will help parents and caregivers know when to speak up. Speaking up for an adult is the biggest thing that we can do for children. So when you are speaking up, make sure that you are 100% positive. But even if you're not, still speak up. Because even if you're wrong, you're showing the child that there are adults that are there. It may cause problems, but it is better to give the child a chance and to express your concerns. So if you are thinking that a child is being abused, you can contact your local law enforcement and your local DCFS. I'm sorry. So you can find these numbers on a website. If you don't want to speak to your local law enforcement because maybe they don't do enough, they can certainly give you the number to DCFS. So I personally think that the awareness needs to be brought up.